Salam, good morning. This is Mohammed Moin Rehman with episode 3. In this episode, we shall be talking about Muslims in United States as well as the politics of United States. As we all know, there are two political parties mostly in United States as of today. The Democrats, whose nominee for the November 2024 elections is President Joe Biden. And for the Republican Party, we already have Mr. Donald J. Trump, President Donald J. Trump, running for re-election. No, not re-election. He was a president before, but he is running to be the president again. My suggestion to all the Muslims of United States especially is to vote for President Donald J. Trump in the forthcoming elections. That is the only way we are going to prove our existence to the media, which also is totally controlled by two channels. CNN, working mostly for the Democratic Party, even though they don't like to project it that way, but that is so in reality. And the Republicans, which is projected by the by the Fox network. But both of them, unfortunately today, also work hand in glove with the Israeli government. And again, we have nothing against Israel. We have our reservations when they are called the only ally to United States. An ally is somebody who reciprocates, who also does something for the other side. I, for one, couldn't figure out what they have done for United States. We part with billions of dollars. What do we get? When I say we, I mean United States of America. Nothing. But the projection is so one-sided that the entire population of Muslims, not only in the United States, but all over the world, are shown as anti-Israel. That is not so. There are certain governments that have been there in the past, which Muslims have not been against. Nobody was against Golda Meir and so many other governments in Israel. Yes, they were against the government of Ariel Sharon, who was the mastermind of Sabra and Shatila, the massacre in Sabra and Shatila, which in one night, 3,000 or 3,500 Palestinians were massacred. But what happens and what is happening today in Gaza and Palestine is nothing compared to what happened in Sabra and Shatila. 35,000, 40,000 Muslim women and children have been massacred. Over 15,000 women have been raped, some in front of their own children. 17,000 children, from babies, infants, to 5, 6, 7-year-old who know no difference. All they want to do is go to school, play games. Their lives have been lost. But we have nothing against the country of Israel. In anger, people say a lot of things. Sometimes we say those things to our family members. It doesn't mean anything. But I would like to request, especially the residents, the nationalities of Muslims, of Americans who are here, who are everyday citizens, to vote for the Republican Party and Donald J. Trump. I am going to say a few things about Donald J. Trump. The media is a powerful tool, especially those who know the media, know the power of editing, which has been extensively used by the Democratic Party against President Donald J. Trump. When I say that, let me give you an example. Donald J. Trump has been projected as somebody who hates Muslims. In reality, that is not the truth. Far from the truth. When Donald J. Trump says, for example, I am going to ban all Muslims from coming to the United States, what they eloquently edited was the following sentence which followed after that, which is, I am going to ban all Muslims from entering the United States from those countries where terrorism or promotion of terror or un-Islamic values are projected. And that's exactly what he did. But it was edited to show that I'm going to ban all Muslims from entering the United States. He only banned Muslims from 4 or 5 countries. There are 50 Islamic countries. The other 45 or 46 countries, residents, kept coming every day during the period of the presidency of Donald J. Trump. They came every day. They were granted visas, they were students, matrimonial visas, all kind of visas were issued. But no, he was projected as an anti-Muslim. That part is not true. Donald J. Trump, there are golf courses, hotels. He is the only man, by the way, in the world whose name sells on a golf course or on a building. There is no famous actor in Hollywood or any part of the world whose name sells as Donald J. Trump does. He's a self-made, hard-working man, but he was not given the projection that he deserved. He's a man of authority. The tariffs against China implemented by Donald J. Trump will stand out in the history of this country. He took on nations that nobody dared. No one. He is a man of authority. On a lighter note, I like to call him General Donald J. Trump. If he was in the US Army, he probably would have retired as a 5-star general, because he does what he says. Again, hardworking person who converted his business into a business empire. But since the media was played, he is projected as someone who stole money, who did everything wrong. What the media has also projected Donald J. Trump as is as if the man is a sex offender. Can you imagine? Has anybody seen Donald J. Trump when he was young? How good looking he was? In a country like United States, does he have to indulge in that? With his looks and his money, it was very difficult for him to do or indulge in activities that supposedly he forced people to do. There are things which most men do when they're young. They're in college. But we grab some of those sentences and project them in TV as if the man has something like he's a sex offender living next door. So be careful. And what was the end result? The women voters were taken away from him because he was projected in that light. That part is not true. He went places to sort out things and put them in the right light that it should have been. He went to North Korea. He walked out a winner. He went to Russia. If Donald J. Trump would have been the president of this country, there would have been no war on Ukraine. It would not have happened because he would have negotiated his way in. And the world would be scared of him in doing something of that nature, because he would make sure that such acts are not carried out. whether by Putin or Netanyahu. All this thing that happened were certain elements from the Hamas, the act they did by kidnapping 800,000, 1,200 people, innocent women and children, would never have happened. They would never have had the guts to do that. Because Donald J. Trump would have come down very hard. He always does. He's a man of principle. To project him as if he's a criminal who did things when he was doing business, getting loans or whatever it is, you know what? I have been in business for almost 40 years. There will be hardly any businessman whose records are 100% okay. Business means manipulation. So maybe he did some manipulations. But why does he get caught while Joe Biden's son, Hunter, who made millions, allegedly, just got away? There have been many wrongs done by the Democratic Party presidents. We all know what Bill Clinton did with Monica Lewinsky's scandal. Watch my lips. Remember that? And in the end, what happened? We don't want to get into that. But I do want to say that certain things are not believable. What are the chances of a billionaire getting into an aircraft, one of the most well-known person in this world, and calling the hostess or the host in the aircraft and saying, you see that lady in the back? Can you get her on the seat next to me? And he would indulge in acts, and that lady would come forward 50 years later? I don't know what happened, but there are certain things which the media controls and projects, and we live with that projection. He was a good president. We need to get him back. Not because he was good or bad. Even if he was the worst guy, the Muslims need to vote for him. And let me tell you why. This, which Rashida Tlaib and Ilhan Omar also said, we will remember in November 2024. What that means is that the media has learned, it needs to learn that the Muslim votes matter. The only peaceful way for doing that is to vote for the opposite side of President Biden. So that someday, if not in November 2024, then November 2028, just as the Latino voters have been recognized, the blacks have been recognized, the Muslim vote has to be recognized. Joe Biden went to Israel to promote the war, which cost $400 billion to the US economy. Because he was not because he was in love with what had happened or what did not happen. He was looking to get money as well as votes from the Jewish American citizens. Well, the Muslims will make a difference, especially in the swing states, because there are 33 states where the Muslim votes will matter. Not only those states where we are there in large numbers, but for example, Maine. There are 17,000 Muslims in Maine. Those 17,000 votes will make a difference. Those 10, 12,000 voting people will make a difference. There is 44,000 voters in Connecticut. There is 150,000 voters in Pennsylvania. There are 70,000 voters in Wisconsin. There is 115,000 voters in Minnesota. Colorado has 70,000 voters. Nebraska, 9,000. But 9,000 is 9,000. Michigan has 250,000 voters. The list goes on. Maryland has 200,000 voters. New Jersey, 350,000. Virginia, 170,000 voters. Massachusetts, 135,000 Muslims. Tennessee, 40,000 Muslims. Utah, 26,000 Muslims. Washington, 28,000 Muslims. Arizona, 110,000 Muslims. Alabama, of all the places, Alabama has 25,000 Muslims. Connecticut, 45,000 Muslims. Florida, 130,000. Georgia, 125,000. I think 150,000, but on Google it says 125,000 Muslims. Indiana has 42,000 Muslims. Iowa, 24,000. North Carolina, 135,000 Muslims. Ohio, 121,000 Muslims. Texas, 315,000 Muslims. Oregon, 50,000 Muslims. Missouri, 55,000 Muslims. New Mexico, 12,000. Make it count. If Donald J. Trump wins the next election, we will force CNN and their whole 6-8 people who sit on the panel to someone to come up and say that the Muslim votes mattered. They might acknowledge it, they might not. But we continue to do what we need to do. If we are able to do that, they will recognize us. And by the next election in 2028, they will not treat us like a flock of sheep infected. They won't be foaming when they talk about the Muslims. They will have consideration for the Muslim votes because votes matter. This is the only way of going forward in a country that makes a difference to the world. Because right now, America makes a difference. They dictate. Their dictation is heard from Saudi Arabia to Kuwait, to the UAE, to Malaysia, to Indonesia, India, Bangladesh, Pakistan. They can change governments. They have indulged in it. The next man in will make the difference because he will know what got him there in the swing states. We need to prove that. And by speeches against the government of the United States is not going to help. Your anger should be taken out in the voting, on the day of the voting. Right now we have 2 representatives in a house of 435. With a population like that, in 33 states, we have, even if we cannot do it, run as independents in November 2024, because there is not that much time. But we should try and do it even now. Run as independents if there is an election to vote for the House of Representatives. Someday, your target should be 20 to 30 representatives in the House. It might not happen tomorrow. I might not be around to see it happen. But that's okay. But we shall get there. We can get there. That will make the ultimate difference. Because you cannot get a law passed and get into the Senate unless the House majority is there. And I can assure you, there will be no majority with the Republicans or the Democrats if there are 20, 30 representatives that exist in the House of Muslims. There is a science to it. Missouri has 8 representatives with a population of 55,000 Muslims. If our Muslim people, businessmen, successful, they are successful Muslims in the United States. they're doctors, they're business people, they're football team, NFL owners. The Jacksonville Jaguars are owned by a Muslim. These are the people who need to come forward and run in the elections and campaign. I am heading towards the end of my journey. I wish I was young. I wish I was rich. I'm not. I can't do it. But you can. Whether you're an Arab, you're a Pakistani, you're a Bangladeshi, it doesn't matter. Please stand up in the name of Islam. Read the Quran with the meaning, and God will give you strength. So coming back on the subject, let's vote for Donald J. Trump. Let the general go to work. The other day I was seeing his interview, and he said, the first day I am back, I'm going to make sure Imran Khan is released from prison. There are many Imran Khans out there. And I personally don't care if it is Imran Khan or it is the Sharifs in Pakistan or it is the lady in Bangladesh or Malaysia or whatever it is. Whoever it is has to learn how to live, breathe like a Muslim. When you do that, you will learn to respect other faiths. You will have empathy for everyone. That is what Islam is all about. Donald J. Trump is not a vicious person, as he is projected in the media. Look what is happening to him today as we speak. He's bound in a courtroom where the judge doesn't even want to let him breathe. He cannot campaign. His hands are tied, and we hear in the media everything about the judge and his daughter. But let me tell you, you guys can make the difference. Whether he campaigns or not, make him win. Let the message go across. And in the next election of 2028, let's say there is a Republican, whoever it is, Marco Rubio, Ron DeSantis, anyone who misbehaves and gives the Muslims a hard time, vote for the other guy. Keep doing that till they recognize the power of Muslim votes. The power of the Lord is infinite. Trust Him. That will get us somewhere. If it is meant to be. And if it is not meant to be, we tried. Let's give it our best shot. But I have a feeling, personally, that if we can get Donald J. Trump elected to the White House, he will listen. He has never left behind a friend. Never. That's why the people are with him, for him. And against all odds, they don't back out. We have seen in the last 4 years of everything that is being thrown at him. He's winning in the elections today because he stands tall, like a wall. And he won't go away. You can sentence him. You can do whatever you want to him. That man is strong. A strong man deserves to be the President of the United States because a strong man can do a lot of justice in this world. He's firm. He was firm with NATO. He was firm with the European allies. He was firm with the dictators, with Putin, with Kim Jong-un, with China. He's a strong man. He deserves to be the next President of the United States. Thank you very much.